Let's face it, there's no worse feeling than seeing that red receipt and nothing. No reply, nothing. It's like you've just been ghosted, but she's still watching your stories, liking your posts, maybe even dropping a random comment here and there. So what's really going on? Well, today I'm gonna break it all down. The truth about why she sees your messages, but doesn't reply. Spoiler alert, it's not always what you think. Jessica OS here, welcome to the channel. Number one, she's keeping you as an option. This is when she sees your messages, doesn't reply, but also doesn't completely cut you off. Why? Because she's keeping you on standby, just in case she doesn't find something or someone she considers better. It sounds harsh, but it's true. Some women don't completely ghost you because they enjoy the comfort of knowing you're there when they want attention, validation, or safety net. It's like having a backup plan they can fall back on when things aren't going the way they expect them to. She reads your message but doesn't reply because she doesn't feel the urgency to. She knows you're interested and she's confident that you'll stick around. She might throw you breadcrumbs, small doses of attention here and there, like a random hey or a heart reaction to your story to keep you interested without actually committing. Let me paint you a picture. Imagine you text her, hey, hope you're having a great day. And she leaves you on red for hours, maybe even days, and then responds with something generic like, you too. Does that sound like someone who's genuinely interested in building a connection? Or does it sound like someone who's just trying to keep the door slightly open without walking through it? Here are some of the key signs that you're being kept as an option. 1, she only replies when it's convenient for her. If her responses are sporadic and only happen when she's bored or has nothing better to do, it's a red flag. 2, she never initiates conversations. You're always the one reaching out, and she rarely, if ever, takes the lead. 3, her messages lack effort or depth. If her replies are one-word answers or generic phrases, she's not investing in the conversation. Know that. 4, she's flaky about meeting up. She might agree to plans, but will cancel at the last minute or keep rescheduling, keeping you in limbo. 5, she's inconsistent. One day she's warm, the next day she's cold and distant, etc., etc. This hot and cold behavior is a classic tactic for keeping you hooked. So what should you do if you suspect that you're being treated this way by a woman you're interested in? The first thing you need to do is to set boundaries. Stop chasing her, you heard me. Stop over-investing in someone who isn't giving you the same energy back. And if she truly values you, she'll notice when you pull back, and at that point, she will be compelled to make an effort and reconnect. If she doesn't, well, that's your answer. I want you to remember this. The right woman won't make you feel like an option. She'll make you feel like a priority. Second reason, you're low on her priority list. And I know it's a tough pill to swallow, but let me explain what's happening behind the scenes. Think about it. We all make time for the things and people that matter to us, correct? If she's interested in you, she'll carve out even a few seconds of her day to shoot you a quick text, even if it's as simple as, hey, I'm swamped, I'll get back to you. That's basic courtesy. But when she sees your message and doesn't reply, and then goes on to post selfies, comment on other people's posts, or share a TikTok dance video, she's sending a clear message. She's prioritizing other things and not you. Now, before you start blaming yourself, understand this. It doesn't necessarily mean that you've done anything wrong. It could be that 1, she's more invested in someone else at the moment, or she's keeping her options open and giving attention to whoever excites her more at that point in time. Or maybe she's just not feeling that strong connection with you, but doesn't want to completely cut ties. So if you find yourself in this situation, how do you handle it? What's the best thing to do? Well, for starters, I would say don't beg for her attention. Okay? Instead, take a step back, shift your focus elsewhere. That shift alone can either push her to prioritize you or confirm that she wasn't invested in the first place. Either way, you win. Third reason she won't respond to your messages, she's sending a message without sending a message. Sometimes silence speaks louder than words. When a woman sees your message and doesn't reply, it might not be because she's too busy or forgot. It could be intentional. Let's dive into what this really means and how you can decode her non-reply. First, let's face facts, okay? Not every message deserves or gets a reply. And when she deliberately leaves you unread, it's often a subtle, passive-aggressive way of communicating something that she doesn't directly want to say. What's the message? Well, it depends on the situation. But let me give you a few common meanings behind her silence. First one is this: she's telling you to back off. If you've been coming on too strong, texting too much, being overly available, or pushing her for attention, her non-reply could be her way of saying, I need space. Women are intuitive communicators, and sometimes they'll let their actions or lack thereof do the talking. So instead of sending that follow-up text like, hey, did you get my message, which comes across as pushy, just take a hint and ease off. Give her the breathing room that she might be craving. Sometimes silence isn't an insult, it's a request for balance. 2, it could be she's losing interest but doesn't want to confront you about it. So not everyone is great at handling awkward conversations or situations, especially when it comes to rejecting other people. So instead of saying, hey, I don't feel the same way, back off, she might simply stop replying to your messages. It's easier for her, but unfortunately it will leave you kind of confused and stuck in limbo. If this is the case, look, it's time to move on. Her lack of response is her way of showing you where she stands. Another reason, she could be setting boundaries, right? Her silence might be her way of saying, I'm not comfortable with how things are going. Whether it's the pace of the relationship, the tone of your messages, or something entirely different, she could be using silence to create that distance. So in this case, respect her boundaries. Don't pressure her for a response or demand explanations. Take a step back. Let her decide if or when she wants to re-engage. Boundaries aren't a bad thing necessarily. They're actually a sign that you two might need to recalibrate. Another reason, she may be trying to see how you'll react. And I know this is a tricky one, but women can act strange sometimes, right? Some women use silence to gauge your emotional maturity. It's like a test. Will you stay calm and confident, or will you unravel and start bombarding her with messages? Her testing is to see if you can handle uncertainty without losing your cool. This is your moment to shine, fellas. Don't overreact. Don't double text or let your insecurities take over. Stay grounded and let her come to you. Another reason, she may be punishing you for something. You never know. Sometimes her silence is deliberate payback. Maybe you said something that rubbed her the wrong way, didn't show enough attention, or forgot something important to her. Now, instead of confronting you about it, she's using silence to make a point. If you suspect this is the case, maybe you would just want to think about all the stuff that's happened. Did you unintentionally offend her? If so, a simple acknowledgement like, hey, I hope I didn't say anything to upset you, can open the door for honest conversation. But be careful not to assume or over apologize, right? You want to show awareness, but not desperation. So next time she leaves you unread, don't panic. Think about what her silence might be telling you and respond in a way that reflects your strength and emotional maturity. And remember, sometimes the best reply to silence is silence of your own. Let her miss your presence. And if she doesn't, you've just dodged a bullet. Take it from me. Let's move on to the next reason. Number 4, she's just not interested. How many ways do I say it? When a woman is genuinely interested in you, she's going to make the effort to respond. It doesn't matter if she's busy, distracted, or stressed. She'll find a way to stay in touch because she values the connection. If she's consistently ignoring your messages, it's essentially her way of silently saying, I'm not feeling this, without having to actually spell it out. Here's the thing, most women don't want to hurt your feelings. Confrontation is uncomfortable, and rejecting someone directly will feel awkward or maybe even mean. So instead, they'll choose the passive route, leaving you unread, hoping that you'll take a hint and move on without forcing them to say, I'm not interested. That silence is not accidental, it's deliberate. Now, to help you figure out if this is the case, I've got some key signs that her silence means she's not interested. If you see this, number 1, she rarely, if ever, initiates conversations, then you should know that it's a clear signal she's not interested, okay? 2, her replies are short and unenthusiastic. When she does respond, her messages might be brief, dry, lack any effort, basically to keep the conversation going. 3, she makes no effort to meet up in person. If she avoids plans, cancels often, or always has an excuse, she's obviously not prioritizing you. 4, she's active elsewhere, but ignoring you, right? Engaging on social media, liking other people's photos, online for hours on WhatsApp, but ignores your message. That's a red flag. 5, she doesn't react to your attempts to connect, right? The compliments, the jokes, or thoughtful questions all fall flat, and she shows no enthusiasm to engage deeper. What should you do in this instance? Truth is, you can't force someone to feel something they don't, right? If her lack of response is a consistent pattern, it's time to let go and focus on someone who's genuinely excited about you. Chasing after someone who's indifferent will only drain your confidence and your self-respect, right? So instead, stop texting her. If she isn't replying, the last thing you want to do is to bombard her with more messages. Silence speaks volumes, and your decision to pull back will send its own message. 2, focus on yourself. Redirect your energy into things that make you happy. The best revenge, as they say, is success. 3, keep your options open. Yep, there are plenty of amazing women out there who will appreciate your love and effort, right? So don't let this one person's indifference close you off from other opportunities. 4, learn the lesson and move forward. Recognize that you're not everyone's cup of tea, and that's okay. It doesn't make you any less valuable. It just means she's not the right fit for you. Now, the 5th reason she may be leaving you on red or not responding to your messages is she's testing your patience. It's a subtle form of power play. She might be gauging how you react when you're left waiting. Do you panic, double text, or do you stay calm and collected and let her come back to you when she's ready? You see, the way you handle this moment will tell her everything she needs to know about your confidence level. Why do some women do this? Well, because they can, but also because patience signals strength. When you're not fazed by the delay, it tells her that you're not overly reliant on her attention to feel validated, and she can find that attractive. On the other hand, if you start spamming her inbox with messages, it'll come across as needy and insecure, 2 qualities that will almost always work against you. If she's testing your patience and you pass the test by staying calm and nonchalant, you'll automatically stand out as someone who's not desperate for her attention. And remember, attraction grows in the spaces that you leave. Patience isn't just a virtue, it's a superpower in the dating game. 6th reason, she's genuinely busy, but only sometimes. Sometimes when a woman doesn't reply, it's because she's genuinely busy. Life happens, right? Work deadlines pile up, family drama demands her attention, or she's just having one of those days where she's feeling overwhelmed. But, and this is a big but, this excuse only holds water occasionally. See, because the thing is, when a woman is interested in you, she'll make an effort to stay in touch no matter how chaotic her schedules. She might not reply immediately, but she'll circle back with a, "Hey, saw your message earlier, sorry I couldn't get back to you, what's going on?" That's her way of showing that she values the connection you both have. Now, let's be real. The busy card can also be overplayed. If she's constantly seeing your messages and not replying, yet finds time to do other things, right? The "I'm busy" will start to lose credibility. So how can you tell if she's genuinely busy versus if she's uninterested? Pay attention to these cues. 1, she'll apologize for delays. If she says, "Sorry for the late reply, today's been crazy," and follows up with a meaningful conversation, she's likely being honest. 2, she keeps the conversation alive. Even when she's swamped, she'll make an effort to keep you in the loop, even if it's just a quick message to let you know she'll catch up later. Now, on the flip side, if she gets busy after you send a message but never re-engages, her priorities may be elsewhere. And the golden rule is, if someone is genuinely into you, they'll find a way to stay connected, even in small ways. If she doesn't, you're not her priority, and that's okay. It's not a reflection of your worth, but rather a sign to adjust your expectations and direct your energy elsewhere. And finally, the last sign I'm going to put out here, because I don't want this video to be too long. She likes you, but she doesn't know what to say. Now, this is a twist you may not expect, but sometimes when a woman sees your messages and doesn't reply, it's because she actually likes you a lot, right? And I know it sounds counterintuitive, but hear me out. When a woman is into you, especially in the early stages of getting to know each other, she might overthink every single thing. She doesn't want to come off as too eager or say the wrong thing, so instead of replying, she freezes. It's not that she's ignoring you. She's caught up in her own head, trying to figure out the perfect response. Okay, if she's into you but unsure of how to express it, a few things might be happening. For instance, she may be worried about saying the wrong thing. She's overanalyzing the situation, or she's trying not to seem too available. See, because let's not forget that society often tells women that being too eager might scare a man away. So she's playing it cool, and sometimes to her own detriment. Here's the thing. Women who overthink their replies are often the ones who care the most. It's a sign that she's putting thought and effort into how she comes across to you. So instead of getting frustrated, I would say it's important that you appreciate the fact that she's genuinely interested, even if she's not the best texter. Now, the key is to create an environment where she feels comfortable. And once she does, trust me, those conversations will flow naturally. If this video hit home for you, give it a thumbs up, subscribe, share it with a friend who might need to hear this as well, because I know my species are complicated sometimes. And as always, drop your thoughts in the comments below because I love to read your messages. And well, until next time, stay confident, stay classy. I'll be catching you in the next video. Jessica OS here. Cheers.